is that all of us care for our children and we want to give them something valuable. Right? We want to equip them so that they do well in life. But the definition of those things, we will sort of study, or we will sort of discuss here, that what does it mean? What do we want to give our children? Do we want to give them, just a big bank balance, or just a lot of education, or is there something else we can give them? What do the scriptures say is the role of a parent? We'll discuss some of those things, because as that joke goes, that in current times where communication is wireless, phones are cordless, education is somewhat worthless, and politics is shameless, needs are less and less, youth are jobless, situation is hopeless. In such a situation, we are tasked with this great responsibility of raising people who would somewhat be of value in society. So it's not a joke. So congratulations, first of all, on deciding to have children. Just a couple of days back, I read an article where everyone is praising India ka fertility rate is first time lower than the death rate. 2.1. Now an average Indian family produces less than 2 kids. Bravo, amazing. So in this, there's nothing amazing about it. But in this age where people don't want to have kids, people don't even want to get married, I assume all of you are parents here. So congratulations on that. I would just want to get to know you better before we start. So we'll just have a couple of polls. So Mataji, can we start the first poll? By the way, on Zoom polls, we don't actually get to know, or I over here sitting will not get to know who's answered what. So please honestly answer.
So Prabhuji, you want, actually I had put all the 5 questions in the single poll.
No, Mataji, one poll.
Okay. So just give me 1 second, I will just create.
You can just start it, and after the first poll, you can stop it, and then you can again restart it.
Okay. So request all of you just to answer question 1. Please don't answer all the questions. Yeah.
Mataji, we can't submit if we are answering only one question. Mataji?
Answer all then. Answer all.
Prabhuji, can you send the link again of the questions? Because we did not get it.
So the poll is launched. It will appear on your screen, beta. You can tell him, mother, to that it will appear on the screen.
But it's not showing, Mataji.
It's coming. I can see everyone answering. Can you just check again?
Mataji, I don't know how to check it.
You need to be in the evening session. Get your parents on.
Prabhuji, my parents are over here only.
Gopal. Okay, so now I will end the poll and I'll share the results. I'm sharing the results now. Would you want to talk about this, or should I speak about this?
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So 62% people participated. 39% children are from age 4 to 8, 43% 9 to 12. Okay. So majority of the children are below 12. Do your kids chant Hare Krishna daily? 49%. That's very good. Frequently 33%. 20% they don't chant. Do you chant Hare Krishna? 61%. Very nice. Very good. Very encouraging. 100% answer on the last one. Long lasting happiness we want for our children. Long lasting happiness. Now, in this Google search, which I did, goal of parenting. This is what Google brought up. This is not me. This is the American Institute of American Psychological Association. They say parenting practices around the world share three major goals: ensuring a child's health and safety, preparing children for life as productive adults, and transmitting cultural values. Health and safety, productive adults, transmitting cultural values. Now, when we transmit cultural values is when they will become productive adults. Productive adults doesn't mean just that they'll earn a lot of money. Productive adults, here the word is productive adults. They should have the qualities to be able to do well in life and transmitting cultural values. Now, this is the third point especially, which our modern education sort of doesn't take care of. Transmitting cultural values. You try and you know, in the name of secularism, they sort of have just blocked this out. So cultural values. Why is cultural values very important? Cultural values is important because people of previous generations used to do certain things for certain reasons, and those reasons sort of shaped a person's mentality. And therefore giving culture versus just make, so for example, like festivals have now become like rituals. Diwali has become a ritual where you just have to forcibly go to people's home to distribute sweets. Now, earlier it was you had to burn crackers, and now it's sort of uncool to burn crackers. But what's the whole point about Diwali? Holi is just now become that you just play with colors, or earlier water balloons. Now we don't see that much. But what's the goal? Why is it? What is Holi? What is Diwali? In Tej and all these things, people just we have to wear new clothes. No, you don't have to wear new clothes. You have to do certain things which are meant for developing some character and some values in you. So cultural values. Also, the next top search was the primary purpose of parenting is to raise fully functional adults who can take care of themselves and make a positive contribution to society. Generally speaking, this should be accomplished by the age of 18. So, giving culture, giving values, making people productive adults, and done by the age of 18. Now, we can interact. How many parents actually have giving cultural values as one of their top priorities, or giving spiritual values as one of their top priorities? Versus, I was just discussing, we were coming back from Vrindavan, and we were discussing with our Ashish Prabhu, and he was saying that, it's just the whole goal is I should get the best tuition teacher, and my kid should be in the best coaching class, and book that teacher. Only 5 seats are left, just book it. Your child doesn't require what, that is all secondary, but your child should be in the best coaching class. Your child should be taught by the best football teacher, by the best jogging teacher, by the best, blah, 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 blah. Versus, okay, every child is different. So what does my child actually require? And does it, where am I in the whole picture? Okay, I'll get a best football teacher and a best maths teacher and a best this, that. But where am I in the whole picture? What am I going to do for my kid apart from writing that check for the fees? What am I going to do? Is that also really important? So, it's like we can all ask ourselves this question that why did we choose to have children in the first place? Why did we choose to have children? And you can please interact here with me. आप आपने बच्चे पैदा करने का निर्णय क्यों लिया? Why did you decide to have children? Or even if it was accidental, why did you let it continue and produce a child? There must be, we do things for some reason. We buy a car for a reason. We buy a house for a reason. We buy specific clothes for a reason. Now we've got these living entities into our lives. What were we thinking? And it's not like now you catch your head and say, oh my God, what was I thinking? But at that time, when you decided that, okay, I want to have children, what was the whole plan?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It was like we should have a family, so that the husband, wife, now we should have a family, then so that we can have somebody to take care, and we should get a purpose of our lives. We should continue to get them upbringing and all. That is the main thing. What
very nice. One very nice point. Very nice point which Aparna ji made is that there should be some purpose in life, wherein it's the whole point is the children bind the family together. So the whole purpose being, okay, now we are two, and now our affection is sort of targeted and directed towards these children also, 1, 2, whatever. So very nice. So the point is that we recognize that there should be some bonding in the family, and here is the object of affection versus a dog or a television set or a car. We have a better object of affection, which is our children. So very nice.
And
what
Prabhuji,
else?
It's mutual too. We are getting many things from them also. So it's a mutual thing. If you are giving your affection or something to a thing which is not live or something, then you're not getting that sort of bonding and affection which we are getting from the kids.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes, when children grow up, and then if you have a dog, the dog is much more affectionate, much more loyal. But let's just think from a point of view of before now we have kids. So of course we have more experience, and there is reciprocation of the children, which is also very nice. But just when we decided, okay, we want to be parents, and please don't answer in-laws ka pressure tha, ya mummy papa ka pressure tha. What were the positive things that we were thinking? So one very nice point she made is children bind us together. What else? Who else would like to say something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Yes, Vikas.
Yeah, so in my case, actually, I was always thinking that I should get a kid who is very good in society. Means, though not spiritually, but he should not create a mess in society. Rather, he should cultivate some kind of cultures like in society. Means because that Nirbhaya case, it happened almost, or before that also there were many cases. So it was in my mind that we should have a kid like which can be brought up with a good culture actually, so that he does not harm to society if at all he does not progress to the society. Yeah,
so we should raise. We want a child who will be a good example in society. Okay, good. What else?
Prabhuji, can I say something?
Yes, please.
Rangarajan, this is Rangarajan. Guruji, actually, after reading the Bhagwad Gita,
yes, please go on.
After reading Bhagwad Gita, I find that these children and all are all only temporary. And next birth, I may have another wife, another brats and all. So that is what my Guruji always says. So after reading this Bhagavad Gita, only positive thing I had was, started donating generously, telling that these children can manage for themselves. And culturally, I brought my wife. I would say more, my wife brought the children very nicely. I was in Jakarta. She taught Vedam and everything they learned. But now he is in USA. Pressure. He has forgotten everything and saying that, Appa, I will take my own decision. I said, do whatever you want. Don't bother me. And this is what is happening now. In spite of giving the best culture, when they go after 18, you said till 18. After 18, when they go abroad, they get India. When I say I'm not pressurizing them to marry any Indian girl or something, they do their own life. They go more westernized. So my problem is whatever culture we give till 18, that may remain. Maybe after 60, like 60, after 60, I came to know that all these donations have started ISKCON and everywhere I'm now started giving. I'm not saying I'm giving. Whatever I got from the society, I'm returning back. My Guruji says, give it to, because these children are not your children after death. Everybody is forgotten. All those dialogues are good for hearing. But in practical terms, sir, it's not possible. Attachment is yesterday my daughter has got a granddaughter who is
So
9
I
months.
got
No,
your
1
point.
minute. Let me finish.
And
9 months, my granddaughter. I clearly said, I'm not going to do the nanny's job. Let them do whatever they want, because life is very short for us. That's my contention, sir.
thank you. So the teaching or the lesson, and this is something that actually takes me nicely to the next point which I wanted to make, is we've all heard of Chanakya Pandit. And Chanakya Pandit there is one in Chanakya Niti, there is one verse in the 3rd chapter of Chanakya Niti about parenting, in which he says that till the age of 5, we are just supposed to give our children unconditional love. Unconditional love. There is just whatever they do, just create your bond with the child, because that is required. From the age of 5 till the age of 15, we are meant to discipline them. Then the pampering stops. Then the lad pyar. Of course, there is affection. Disciplining doesn't mean that you become harsh or you become hard-hearted. There is affection. But before, when a child would cry, you would just, give whatever the child wants, which is what you're supposed to do in the first initial years of the kid's life. From the age of 5 till the age of 15 is when we are supposed to discipline them. Now, disciplining would not necessarily mean hitting them, but disciplining would be being tough with them and punishing them. Nowadays, it's become a crime to punish, but that's necessarily not very right. And then those 10 years, from the age of 5 till the age of 15, it's all about disciplining the child. And from the age of 15 onwards, all that a parent is supposed to be is a friend to the child. Because what most people do is, 8 साल का innocent है, 10 साल का innocent है, 12 साल का innocent है. And then after 15, 16, then you realize that, my God, and then you try to discipline, then you try, and then it just breaks the whole relationship. So we are supposed to follow this. So from the age of 5 till the age of 15, most of you have children, you said below 12. This is the time where we require to discipline the child, and sometimes swallow a bitter pill, but discipline the child. And then after 15, we can actually learn from kids. Chanakya Pandit says that if you've done your job right, and it's a job, it's a task. You imagine you have brought a living entity into this world who's going to be here for, Krishna willing, 70, 80 years at least, and is going to see everything of the world and has to become independent and be on their own feet in this world and do things in this world. And you are the cause of that. You have willingly brought the child here. So it's not a joke. If we think our nannies will take care, or our grandparents will take care, or the teachers will take care, or expensive coaching will take care, all that will give some skills, expensive coaching and teachers, and they will add some skills. But the actual job of reforming or setting a character from that age of 5 to 15 can only be done by parents, not even by grandparents. It can only be done from parents. And after that, then however the child turns out, it's not in our hand. The scriptures mention From till the age of 4 or 5, children don't incur any karma. They don't incur any karma. From the age of 5 till the age of around 13, 14, whatever the children do, the parents get the karma. If my kid goes and pushes someone and that child falls and gets hurt, I get the karma for it. If my kid is between that age. And then after the age of 14 or 15, then the child's karma is his or her own karma. Why is that? Because till then you are the guardian. They are supposed to be in your control. And if they are not in our control, that is a reflection of our parenting, not the child. It's a reflection of our parenting. We'll say, "Bachche mante nahi hai, bachche sunte nahi hai." Figure it out. Do something about it. They are in. Therefore, we get their karma. Who talks about this? Which school prospectus gave you that written there? 9th standard तक आपका बच्चा जो भी करेगा उसका कर्मा आपको मिलेगा. They don't even know. So we can safely say that the goal of parenting, this is from Prabhupada's teachings, this is the crux of the scriptures. The goal of parenting is to equip children with values and skills to lead happy lives. No one wants their kid to be unhappy. Everyone wants that mera bacha, at the end of the day, why you want your child to go to IIT? Why you want your child to go to IIM? Or why you want your child to become an engineer or a doctor? Or, if your child likes sports, every parent would want, my child should be the best at something and all. Why do we want that? Because we think that with that, he or she will earn money, and with that, he or she will become happy. The goal is that which parent will say, no, I don't, happiness, tel lene gaya, mujhe successful bacha chahiye. Of course, there will be some people who will think like that also. Ultimately, why I want my kid to go to these good schools or good colleges or get good jobs or do good in life? Because I connect that to happiness. Ultimately, I want my child to be happy. There are so many parents. I'm sure many of your parents, my mother was like that. She used to pass ho jayega na exam mein bas, theek hai, baaki don't take tension. Don't take tension for anything else. They want you to be happy. We all want our kids ultimately to be happy. So we should equip our children. That we have to do. Equip them with values and skills to lead happy lives. The school will equip them with math, science, history, geography skills. Let the school do its job. You hire good teachers. Let them teach your children, A level and whatever else it is. That's also good. But what are you going to do? You are not, if you've got good teachers and all, where is the value add? Like, fine, we'll take care of their health. We'll clothe them nicely. We'll feed them nicely. We'll take them out for vacations and all. But all of you answered one question 100%, which was, we want permanent happiness, long-lasting happiness for our children, not just short-term happiness. We go for a vacation, that maza will last till the vacation is there. We have to come back. We buy them a toy. We buy them a Sony PlayStation. That every material product has diminishing returns. We have experienced ourselves also. Anything you buy, anything you get, the pleasure that you will derive from it on day one is never going to be experienced again. It's just going to go down. So if we give our kids all these facilities, the same thing is going to happen with them also. You give them, very good. But we all have answered this question. We want long-lasting happiness. So where can that long-lasting happiness be? That answer is in the Shastra. Because everything else in this material world, solutions for things are temporary. Whatever you say. COVID is the best example for that. When COVID started, the scientific community thought, ye remedy se COVID se hum bach sakte hain. And after a month they said, nahi, wo to ekdam galat remedy hai, abhi ye remedy hai. First they said, mask mat pehno. Then they said, ek mask pehno. Then they said, N95 pehno. Then they figured out, nahi, do mask acha hai. Like, it all kept changing. COVID is just one example. Like that, endless things. So now we can't rely on material solutions if we want to give our kids long-lasting happiness. Because everything in the material world changes. Change is the only constant. And thus, since all of us voted, if only an Indian democracy could be like this, India would be a much peaceful place. But here we all agreed upon this one thing. We want long-lasting happiness for our children. So we have to turn towards something that is changeless. Now you tell me what in this material world is changeless. Everything changes. Our own bodies change. Everything changes. What is timeless, what is changeless is Shastra. What Krishna spoke in the Bhagwad Gita 5,000 years ago was valid then, was valid 1,000 years ago, was valid in Gandhiji's time, is valid now, is going to be valid when your children become parents, is going to be valid when your children become grandparents, is going to be valid all the time. So what does the Shastra mention? Now, this is not necessarily about parenting. If we want to make our kids, if we want to give our kids long-lasting happiness, we have to align our kids with the scriptures. When we align our kids with the scriptures, they will get values from the scriptures. After that, they take it or they don't take it, they go to America, they do whatever. We can't think of that right now and say that what's the use. It's too late to think of that right now. That should have been thought before having children. But now that we have kids, let us do our job now. In India, if you stop anyone and ask them, Bhagwad Gita के बारे में कुछ बताइए, everyone will say one thing: कर्म करो, फल की अपेक्षा मत करो. Everyone will say that. They know nothing else about the Bhagwad Gita. They will just say this: भगवान ने बोला है कर्म करो. Nowadays they stop at that only. Your HR manager will be expert in that. Hey, you want to take a holiday to go to Vrindavan? अरे भगवान ने बोला कर्म करो, छुट्टी नहीं मिलेगा, काम करो. So कर्म करो, फल की अपेक्षा मत करो. So we have to apply this in parenting also. Let's do our job while the children are still small. They grow up, they take it, they don't take it. It's guaranteed. Whatever spiritual values are given to the child, sometime or the other will be of use. May not be of use right now, will be of use 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later, but it will be of use. Right? Spiritual values, Krishna mentions this in the Bhagwad Gita. Krishna says, Neha bhikramana soti pratnavayona vidyate swa alpam, little bit also. Apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahatu bhayat. Krishna tells Arjuna that whatever little bit also you advance in spiritual life is going to save you and come to your aid later on in life also. So now for parents, it is important to be spiritually strong. If you want your kids to be aligned to spirituality, we ourselves have to be aligned to spirituality. We are sending our kids to the classes, Mataji's class. That's the very good thing we are doing. We should also be following certain things, because ultimately the best way the children learn is by seeing the parents. That's the best learning tool. Byju's and all these things, the best learning tool is example of the parents. Therefore it is achar, vichar, and then prachar. Ask someone what is achar, they'll think of pickle. Achar means conduct, our conduct. Vichar means our thoughts, and then prachar means beta ye nahi karo, beta aise mat karo, beta waise karo. He'll look at you and he'll think after a while, initially maybe you can bully your child to attend Mataji's class or to chant Hare Krishna. After a while the kid will scratch his head and think, but I never see you doing it. You are telling me you chant and all, but when do you do? Maybe after I sleep you do. At that time I don't see you ever. So therefore it is important. We want to give our kids spirituality. We want to give our kids values. We should also imbibe some of those. So therefore we should know certain aspects of Krishna consciousness. We should be interested in certain aspects of Krishna consciousness. First point, and this is just very, very brief. We are just touching the surface because I don't want to be too long. But I'm just going to cover 3 very, very basic points about Krishna consciousness. The first point which I would like to cover or which I would like to talk about, is this very wrong conception that people have about spirituality, which they think we call it as Hindu mythology. How many of us have heard this term, mythology? We all say Hindu mythology. The word mythology means study of myths. Myths. Mithya. What does myth mean?
झूठ प्रभु जी.
Myth means something that doesn't exist.
It's not a fact.
It's not a fact, right? Harry Potter is myth. Because you try and run on Andheri station, platform number whatever, 9, and you see a pole ahead, and you take your bag and full speed, you try and run. This will be funny only to people who have read Harry Potter, or if your kids have told you about it. And you try and run into a pillar, you're going to get a very bad bruise because it's myth. That happens only in the book. But now we call it Hindu mythology. Bhagwad Gita is mythology. That means it never happened. Krishna never came. Ramayana is mythology. That means Ram kabhi aaye nahi. It's not mythology. Right? That term was given by the British when they wanted to introduce Christianity and show us that how our culture is inferior. The British told us don't do yoga. The British threw all our Ayurvedic plants. They got allopathy inside. They got this physical training regime of playing cricket inside. And now they themselves in their countries are teaching yoga and becoming proponents of Ayurveda. Because 300 years later they realized that, oh, actually this is much better. Ayurveda is much better than allopathy. And yoga and pranayam is much better than sports. So they are the ones who coined this term mythology and given it to our scriptures. Our scriptures are not mythology. And therefore God exists. So many people, they ask me, our kids ask this question, Bhagwan hai ki nahi? And we don't know how to answer. We should be knowing how to answer as parents. If we know how to answer when our kid asks us about cigarettes and about things like that, we know the answer to those questions. We should also, as parents, we should know the answer of does God exist and why God exists and how to prove that, because that is what will create faith in our children's heart for God. That is what will create faith and trust in God in our children. So this question actually of does God exist can be answered very, very easily. We see very wonderful things all around us. Like wonderful fruits. Now mango season is going to come. Now strawberries are actually available right now. Wonderful fruit. Each fruit has a covering dependent on the pulp. Based on the pulp, the covering is there. For a pulp which requires a hard cover is there. For a pulp which requires a soft cover, it is there. For pulp which requires just thin layer of skin, that is there. Wonderful variety, wonderful detail. We see plants and we see animals, and like here you can see a butterfly. Such intricate detail, such wonderful vibrant colors, and each animal is different, and each animal has its own unique way of living. For every material thing that we see, there is a creator. Like for example, you see this painting. This is Mona Lisa. Most of us know that it is painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Who painted this? इसमें किसने color भरा? I have been asked to speak a little in Hindi also. इसमें किसने color भरा है? वो मोना लिसा में एक पेंटर ने color भरा है. इसमें किसने color भरा है? We see all this. Thank you. That's why I said those children who attend Mataji's class are not allowed to participate, because you know everything. We see this wonderful effort being put in space technology. Our India also, we tried so much. ISRO tried to go land something on the moon and all. So many brains go behind all of this. So many, the top brains of the country are, working for NASA or for ISRO and all these things. What about this? Who's the brains behind this? The earth is at perfect distance from the sun. If it were little in front, we would all freeze. We would all burn. If it were little behind, we would all freeze. There is no life on all these other planets which we see, at least human life, habitable life for us. But the earth is at a perfect point and it's always rotating. It's always rotating, but it never comes little ahead or little behind. Who's the engineer behind all of this?
Krishna.
So,
Krishna.
therefore, Krishna is the creator. It's not very difficult to understand. It's actually very difficult to become an atheist if you have little brain. If you just look around and see outside your window right now, and you may see the sky, or you may see some trees, or you may see some birds flying around, who created all of that? Krishna says in the Bhagwad Gita, if we read, Krishna mentions, Aham sarvasya prabhava, matta sarvam pravartate. Krishna says, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Krishna says, Prakritim swam avistabhya vishrijami puna puna. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. Krishna says, I am the source of everything. He says, Maya dakshena prakriti suya te sa characharam. This material nature, which is one of my energies, Krishna says, is working under my direction, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Krishna is saying everything that is happening by my control. Krishna is saying, I'm the maintainer of all living entities. And Krishna is saying, it's all happening by my energies. He tells Arjuna in the 10th chapter, know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So, we are all agreed that, or at least your kids agreed, that the creation requires a creator, and that creator is someone not from this world. The government or some agency has not created these flowers. They may be putting water to it, but they have not created it. We have created each other, but we have not created any of these animals. We claim that we are far superior and the animals are inferior, but they are surviving and they are also happy in their lives. Who's the one who's providing for them? Who's the one who's making all this happen? Who's the one who's ensuring that the sunrise, sunset, everything happens on time? Someone not of this world. At least that we'll all accept. Yeah. And then in the Shastra, Krishna is specifically mentioning, I am doing all these things. It's because of my energy, it's because of me that is all of this is happening. So with this faith, we should worship God. With this faith, now we should visit the temple. With this faith, we should tell our children about God. We should be fully convinced of the existence of God. And we should be fully convinced that these scriptures, the Bhagwad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, they are not mythology. They are not just what someone has said or someone's kalpana. They are actually truth. They have actually happened. And because they have happened, it's worth for me to follow what they say. If it is kalpana, then what's the use of following it? So certain facts about the Bhagwad Gita, for example, spoken by Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago to Arjuna. It is timeless. In the Bhagwad Gita, Krishna mentions that imam vivasvate yugam. He's telling Arjuna that, oh Arjuna, ye jo gyan main aapko de raha hu abhi, it is not something new. Actually, I have spoken this. मैंने ये millions and millions of years पहले भी मैंने बोला है भगवान को, और वो ही चलते आ रहा है. मैं आपको सिर्फ I'm just repeating it to you. And therefore, what was applicable millions of years ago and 5,000 years ago is still applicable to us. Bhagwad Gita has 18 chapters. And the best part is there's no mention of the word Hindu in the Bhagwad Gita. Krishna doesn't tell Arjuna, become a good Hindu. Acha Hindu bano. Hindu political party ko vote do. Or मुसलमान लोग को बिल्कुल entertain मत करो, hate करो उनको, and all these things. So, the word Hindu is also created. It is not in the Shastra. Knowledge meant to make Arjuna perform his duty. Now, our duty as parents, we discussed, is to equip our children with knowledge and values by which they can get long lasting happiness, right? As parents, that's our main duty. We may all have our other duty also. You may be a professional. Okay, someone has just scribbled all over the screen. You may be a professional, or you may be a homemaker, or you may be a business owner, or you may be all those other duties also. But now, because we are all parents, this one duty is also there, to equip our children with certain values by which they can achieve long lasting happiness. Now, Bhagwad Gita helped Arjuna achieve his goal as a warrior. That same Bhagwad Gita can help a homemaker achieve her goal. That same Bhagwad Gita can help a student achieve his or her goal. And that same Bhagwad Gita can help parents achieve our goal. Why? Because the Bhagwad Gita is answering the subject matter not from the point of view of the body. So that is the other point which I would like to discuss with all of you, is who are we really? Are we this body? I can see 10 of you at least who, thankfully, I really thank you, listen to me, my appeal, and have switched on your videos. So I can see, 10 people here. We all look different. Some of us like me are wearing specs. At least one person like me with no hair on his head. Some people with nice flowing hair. Somebody with a head covered, wearing a sari, somebody wearing a t-shirt, somebody with their child, somebody with their... Everyone is different. Unless you have an identical twin, you'll never find someone who looks exactly like you. What to speak of that? We ourselves don't look the same always. You look at a photograph of yours 10 years ago, you look different. You look like a photograph of yours 25 years ago, maybe others will not even recognize you. So that just shows we are not this body, right? Because the body is changing. If we are the body, then we are comprised of these things: 70% water, 5 ounces of calcium, 9 ounces of potassium, 1.5 ounces of phosphate, 6 ounces of sulfur. The value in 2022 of all of these elements is, including GST, 210 rupees. So is that what our value is? No, not at all. We probably have chutta paisa in our wallet right now more than this. So, but if we consider ourselves just the body, our worth is this. This calculation does not take into account feelings, emotions, skills, knowledge that we have acquired, all those things which is there in our mind. This calculation takes care of the brain substance, the organ. But the mind, that's not there. Now, most people, you just walk out of the door after half an hour when we conclude, find the first person you meet and you ask them, तुमको body soul के बारे में क्या मालूम है? They will all just say, हम शरीर नहीं है, हम आत्मा है. That also, if you talk to a certain generation, if you talk to the newer generation, they may not even know that. But it's not just about that. There's something more to it. And it's right there in the Bhagavad Gita. If we just read, there are actually 3 coverings that we have. One is what we can see. ये जो 210 रुपए वाला है, what you can see right now. That's called the gross body. Eyes, ear, nose, tongue, all these things. That's our gross body. The gross body is made of these 5 elements, the value of which is 210. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Ether means space. So within our body, there is space. Then there is something else, which is called the subtle body. The subtle body consists of mind, intelligence, and ego. Ego means identification. So mind here is different from brain. Brain is an organ. If you think if a person gets a brain transplant or they get a heart transplant, do they start thinking like the other person, or do they have emotions of the other person? No, you retain your knowledge and you retain your emotions. How is that? Because those are stored in the subtle body, not in the gross body. And then there is a third layer, which is who we actually are, and which is the soul. Now, we are souls, our children are souls, right? We use these terms, the soulmate, without having a clue of what it means. सात फेरे एक साथ लेंगे, 7 जन्म तक एक साथ रहेंगे, all these cheesy things people talk. What does it mean, soul? What does soul mean? The character, soul means spiritual entity. And the characteristics of the soul, just like the gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, the soul is made up of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Anand, everyone knows what Anand means?
Happiness.
Happiness, bliss. Long-lasting happiness. Long-lasting happiness is called as bliss. So that is our characteristic of the soul. We just discussed, we want to equip our children with certain things which will give them long-lasting happiness. It's already there in them. It's already there in us also. Because we are not this sharir. And we are not the mind also. The mind is the gross body. The mind which is stressed. The mind which is in anxiety. We are not that. We are something beyond that. And that's the soul. So Lord Krishna in the Bhagwad Gita says that that embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, and at death accepts another body. We can see here, we've gone through it. Some of us are in that, red dhoti stage. Some of us are in the purple dhoti stage, light purple. Some of us are in the dark purple stage. We are all in different stages of our life, but we are the same person. That shows we are not the body. We are the person within the body, and that is the soul. So, why is it important for me to know that I am the soul? Not just from a theoretical point of view, but a practical point of view, because it will help me understand that because I am the soul, I am supposed to do certain activities for the soul. And because my child is a soul also, I am supposed to, with my child, and encourage my child in doing certain activities because he or she is also a soul, just like me. If one of you suddenly tomorrow figures out that you're adopted, and suppose, for example, you're from a Gujarati family, and tomorrow you figure out that अरे बाप रे, ये तो इन्होंने मुझे गोद लिया है, ये मिस्टर शाह एंड मिसेस शाह हैव टेकन, मुझे गोद लिया है उन्होंने, they've adopted me. Actually I belong to Andhra Pradesh. I was born to Telugu parents who were a bit fair, so therefore I'm not black, and therefore I thought I'm a Gujarati, and it worked out very well till now. But now suddenly you figure out that you're not Gujarati, you're Telugu. Or if worse yet, you figure out that your parents are actually from Pakistan. Now, suddenly, just one example. Gujaratis like sweet things, and people from Andhra Pradesh like extra spicy things. Now, suddenly, what will happen? Our world will sort of somewhat turn upside down, because we will be at a loss of identity. You imagine if you realize that your mother or father are actually from Pakistan, and somehow some circumstances happened and now you're an Indian. The thing which you were brought up to dislike is suddenly your ancestors belong from there. It will turn things upside down, right? Similarly, when we realize that, hey, wait a minute, this mind that I am worried about, or this body that I am really worried about, is not actually me. I am made of something which is far, far more superior than this. I actually have inherent happiness in me, Ananda, and I am the spirit soul. So automatically the question should come, अच्छा भाई soul के लिए क्या करना चाहिए? What should we do? We know body के लिए क्या करना चाहिए. दिन में नहाना चाहिए, 2 बार brush करना चाहिए, healthy खाना डालना चाहिए अंदर, and rest देना चाहिए and all. Soul के लिए क्या करना चाहिए? That should be a question, right? If I suddenly realize that I am actually from a Telugu family and my parents encourage me कि जाओ थोड़ा अपने ancestors के बारे में पता करो. My Gujarati parents encourage me. So I'll go and ask, ना अच्छा ठीक है ये तेलुगु लोग क्या करते हैं? My biological parents are, and the reason I'm giving this example is this example is very much applicable to me because when I was 21, I was informed that I was adopted, and so I am speaking with experience, but we should be, a person will ask this question that okay, I am this now, so then I should learn something about this. So we've all been saying from childhood, हम शरीर नहीं हम आत्मा है, हम शरीर नहीं हम आत्मा नहीं. Boss, what does it mean to be an atma? ये जो हम दाल राइस खिला रहे हैं, or if you're a Gujarati, the sweet dal and rice which you're feeding, is it going to the soul? Or if you're a Telugu, the red chili powder laden sambar which you're feeding yourself, is it going to the soul? Is it reaching the soul? The all the knowledge that I am acquiring, or the 8 hours of sleep that I'm getting, is it giving rest to the soul? The morning workout that I am doing, is it working the soul out? That's all on the bodily platform. What about the soul? So now if I am a spirit soul and my children are spirit souls, and if I want them to be happy always, which is the characteristic of the soul, shouldn't, along with my daily responsibilities of feeding my kids, or first of all feeding myself and giving myself rest and making sure that my kids get a good education, shouldn't along with that my daily responsibility also be to nourish my soul and the soul of my kids? My soul means me, right? That should, very basic logical question, that what does a Telugu do? What is Telugu culture? Similarly, what is the culture of a soul? So this point will bring us to one more point. Now our identity is the soul, not the body, and therefore you have certain facilities in life which have come on their own accord without you having to really endeavor for them. Like for example, we choose certain things in life, we endeavor for them, we have to work for them, like a job or a spouse, hopefully, or a car, or any mode of transportation, or a house. These are things which we can control. I can control the color of my car, unless my wife really wants a red car, in which case I have to drive a red car because she wants it. But otherwise, we can decide certain things. We can decide, but certain things are not in our control. Anyone here was given a catalog before taking births that ये है तेलुगु पेरेंट्स चाहिए, गुजराती लोग चाहिए, वो लोग के पास इतना पैसा है, वो पर तुमको ये स्कूल में भेजने वाला सोच के रखा है ऑलरेडी, वो फीस भी भर दिया है, तुम अभी तक पैदा नहीं हुआ है पर उन्होंने फीस भर दिया है तो तुम यहाँ जाएगा. ये we don't get any of those, right? Nor did we choose our children. We didn't have a cat. हाँ ठीक है, wide eyes, thin eyebrows if it's a girl, fair skin, free flowing hair. ठीक है, I sign up for this. अभी ऐसा बच्चा मुझे चाहिए. We don't choose our kids. We don't choose our parents. We don't choose our features. No matter what the cosmetic industry has to say, we can't change. Inherently, we can't change. And if we try to change, then the result is Michael Jackson. It's not a very good result. Michael Jackson tried so much to change his nose, and it just screwed up. It went from bad to worst. So plastic surgery and all, it won't change. You put so much, how much ever fair and lovely. South India would have been all fair, had fair and lovely work. We don't choose our intelligence. You may have, if you have 2 kids, you may have one child who can learn things much faster than the other. Both are your blood. Both have been given values by you. One or you and your wife maybe, or you and your brother or sister. Intelligence, we can study, but the grasping power is not in our control. duration of life. No one can, no one can say how long we're going to last. So now this right column, what we don't choose, can it just be by chance? If it's by chance, then life is not very fair. There are children who are born like, in 3-4 months back, my mother was admitted to a hospital, and so I was there for 7 days with her. Now that hospital had 6 or 7 floors, and it had a maternity ward also. Now maternity ward was the same, so the mother gives birth in that place was the same, but a few minutes after the child is born, based on the ability of the parent to pay, the mother and the child are shifted to different rooms. If the ability of the parent to pay is a lot, then the child is shifted to a suite room, or a super deluxe room, or a deluxe room, or a AC room, or a twin sharing AC room, or a triple sharing room, or a general ward, right? Depending on the ability of the parents to pay, a few minutes after the birth of the child is going to get a lot of facility, or the child is going to be with 15-20 other children in one room. Is that by chance? If it's by chance, it's not really fair. Some children get very good education and very good nutrition and very good things. Some people have to, struggle it out. This is not by chance. It's by karma, the law of karma. The law of karma is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So now that we are the soul experiences things in life due to karma. Due to karma. Karma means activities which we have done in the past give us certain good or bad reactions now based on whether the activity was good or bad. So one very important goal as a parent is to ensure that our children are generating good karma, is to ensure that we provide them with certain values by which when they grow up, they generate good karma. At least we have to do that. Now, whether they do or not is their job. So along with your education and health and fitness and everything, spiritual goals help achieve these things. No one wants their children to go through hardship, but if they grow up to perform not so nice activities, they are going to generate bad karma, and that bad karma is going to come to them in the form of certain things which will happen in life, certain losses or certain medical problems, and all these are all functions of karma. So as a parent, I should ensure that I give my kids good karma, and I set the example by performing good karma. So I don't perform any sinful activities. The 4 pillars of sinful activities based on the scripture is, now this may pinch, no meat eating. We should not eat meat. We should not feed our kids meat. And we should in fact tell them why meat eating is not good. Just to satisfy the tongue, who has given us the right to take a life which we cannot reproduce? You can't give a chicken its life back. You can't give a cow its life back. You can't give a goat its life back. You can't give a fish its life back. Who has given us the right to take it? Just to satisfy the tongue. So we should become vegetarians, and then we should make sure our kids also follow that. So let us do that. Let us set the example. No meat eating, no intoxication. The second pillar is intoxication. Pillar of sinful life, intoxication. I had a maths teacher in 10th standard. His name was Mr. Bhattacharya. He was a chain smoker. He used to come and you used to smell gold flake. And it was his standard thing. Every 20 minutes, he would give us a tough problem to solve, tough sum to solve. And he would say, ठीक है, ये तुम लोग को 15 मिनट लगेगा solve करने को, मैं 10 मिनट के बाद आता हूँ. And he would go out and he would smoke and then he would come back. When our 10th standard was ending, one of the final few sessions of tuition, he said, देखो बच्चों, अभी मैं तुमको कुछ बताना चाहता हूँ. अभी तुम लोग 11th standard FIJC में जाओगे, लोग तुमको प्रेशराइज करेंगे, सिगरेट कभी मत फूकना. That had zero impact on anyone. Why? Because this fellow every 20 minutes is going out for a cigarette break. So even if we tell our kids don't do these things, if we are doing them, that the words will be hollow. So no intoxication, no alcohol, no cigarettes. Then no gambling. Now gambling includes the satta stock market, short-term trades, and all these things. Because you don't want to encourage your children on ways of making easy and quick money, right? You would want them to do something properly, and that effect, that कीड़ा goes in the child's mind. ये इस पे बेट लगा दूंगा ना, 100 रुपया 1000 हो जाएगा. ओ हार गया, चलो नेक्स्ट पे लगाऊंगा ना, वो जो 100 रुपए वो 2000 हो जाएगा. वो हार गया. ये टिप मिला है ना, ये ग्लैक्सो का स्टॉक ऊपर जाने वाला है, इंट्राडे 1 घंटे में ट्रेड करके निकाल दो बाहर. It may not be sinful, right? But it's going to lead to some difficulty. So, ठीक है, stock market is in your hand, but at least other aspects of gambling we should avoid. And the last one is the infidelity. No illicit relations outside of marriage. If we follow that, our kids will follow that. At least we have to set the example. If we don't do these things, we ensure at least major bad karma doesn't come. Now, we are the spirit soul, and we have to incur good karma. So, what is the dharma of the soul? What is the duty? Dharma means duty. What is the duty of the soul? Just like the duty of a sugar candy is to be sweet, the duty of an ocean water is to be salty. Similarly, the duty of the soul is to live in harmony with the principles of God. That's who we really are. A Gujarati can be happy in a Gujarati family by developing Gujarati values, right? When they learn the Gujarati language, they can be happy in that family because they can talk Gujarati. They start liking Gujarati customs. They start liking Gujarati values. They can feel together in that family. Now, as spirit souls, what helps us feel fully satisfied as spirit souls, as we really are, who we really are, is if we live in harmony with principles of God. So as parents, as individuals, if we live in harmony with principles of God, and then we imbibe those in our children, then it will give our children the chance, and it will give us the chance to achieve long-term happiness, not short-term happiness. So understanding that we are spirit soul is not enough. Knowing what to do to nourish the soul is what will make us happy. Then even if a difficult situation comes in life, we can deal with it nicely. Arjuna was fully flabbergasted before the war started. And then Krishna gave him all this knowledge of the Bhagwad Gita. And in the end, Arjuna peacefully performed his responsibility. So we all say that it was easier in our time to be kids. Now our children have it so much more difficult. That's going to increase more. It's easier for us to be adults now. When our children become adults, it's going to be even more difficult. So therefore, we equip ourselves and we equip them with nourishment of the soul. There is no other way around it. Provided we all stick to our vote, 100% vote, that I want to give my child long-term happiness. So now how does the soul get nourished? The body gets nourished by nourishing food. What does the soul get nourished by? The soul gets nourished by names of God. Mantra. Mantra means mana trayate iti mantra, that which delivers the mind. Yeah? All our problems are in the mind. 90%, medical science says, 90% of diseases nowadays are caused because of stress. Where does stress lie? Stress lies in the mind. It makes us cry like that. The child is crying, we are crying internally. My God, kya ho raha hai mere jeevan mein? So stressful. Initially, work from home seemed so nice. And after a while, it was oh my God, ye kya ho gaya? It was handling that one boss was easier. Now I have so many bosses at home. And that fellow is still bossing me around on the phone, my boss. So stress is in the mind. Mantra, the chanting of the Lord's names, makes us come out of the platform of the body and the mind and situate us on the platform of the soul. So therefore, we encourage everyone that to nourish the soul, the most important aspects to nourish the soul is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra can remove sinful reactions. Karma, we just discussed karma. It can release us from bad karma. It can release us from all those pillars of sin, unwanted habits. Countless devotees I have met who are struggling with so many addictions, and they have come out of it. Because of spirituality, because it gives us certain higher values by which we can very easily say no to certain things. It gives us freedom from anxiety and stress. It gives peace of mind. The list is endless. I can list so many things about the importance of chanting. But the point is, if we cultivate a habit of chanting every day, and if we cultivate a habit of reading scripture every day, we will set the example for our children. And then our children will also naturally come into that habit. We have to, with our heart, do it. If we do it with our heart, it will have an impact. It will have an impact. And we will learn so many things from Krishna consciousness, which we can apply in our parenting. So rather than telling you, Shastra mein ya hamare, it's mentioned, this is how you should do for your kids. Aise karo, waise karo, waise karo. Why don't you figure it out yourself by becoming very nice devotees of the Lord? And that impact will be far greater. Rather than, just like you have a maths teacher, maths guru, and you have a football guru, and you have a badminton guru. Don't just get a spiritual guru in the life of your kids. Become that spiritual guru for your child by setting the right example. And then at the age of 15, till the age of 15, we give our kids Krishna consciousness nicely. And then it's between them and Krishna. We should have the faith that we've given them the right values. If not now, they may not take it up then. They'll take it up at some time in life, definitely. Because Krishna has guaranteed that. Krishna has guaranteed that. I know so many children. I can list down children whose parents became devotees. The children took to Krishna consciousness. While they are kids, they took to Krishna consciousness very nicely. When they entered their teenage age, they somewhat went astray. But within 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, they came back. And they again took to this because they got certain values of spirituality from their parents. And then they went and experienced the world outside. And after experiencing the world sufficiently, they realized, no, that is actually what was helping me. Or that was actually what is very pure. And then they take it back. And when that happens, and when they take it back willingly on their own, they'll never leave it. And let them, you give them the best of other things also, but give them spirituality. And for that, you take to spirituality. My spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he always quotes that in the West, he mentioned one particular sect of Christianity, wherein all those parents compulsorily from the age of 9 to 11, they remove their children from school and they send their children to monastery. That 2 years you study Christianity nicely, and then you come back and then you start your studies again. Same thing happens even in other religions. So it's even more easy for us. We can give it ourselves at home to our kids. So uh, a healthy body requires a healthy diet and exercise. Without a healthy diet and exercise, the body will not be healthy. A healthy you, which is not the body, which is the soul, requires healthy diet and exercise for the soul also. And that is Krishna consciousness, excuse me. And Krishna consciousness, knowing the philosophy. So therefore, we encourage you to participate in older kids class, which is the adults class that we have. Just like we have classes for kids, there are 2 age groups of classes for kids. We have Krishna conscious classes for adults also every Sunday morning. Join sometime, be part of that. Chant with your kids. You should have, you should remove every day 15 minutes to spend with your kids in spirituality. Everyone says, right, bachcho ke liye time nikalo. We've all heard that. Spend time with your family, spend time with your kids. Why don't you, if you remove half an hour for your family and kids, usme se why don't you remove a subset of 15 minutes where you perform spiritual activities with your kids? Every morning, together, offer a lamp to a picture of God, sing kirtan together, eat prasad together. Once in a while, maybe every Sunday or once in 15 days, go to the temple together, or read spiritual stories to your children. Explain Ramayana and Mahabharata to your children. Shivaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, because of whom Maharashtra and below that the Mughals could not invade. He was such a wonderful, great ruler. He was actually very, very spiritually strong. He used to consider Tukaram Maharaj as his guru. And how did he become spiritually strong? Because of his mother. His mother would read Ramayana to him every day. Every day, Shivaji Maharaj's mother used to read Ramayana to him. And, it was his second nature. So let's do that for our kids. And for that, we need to have some substance. And then we can equip our children with values. The Shastra, in one of the verses of Bhagwatam, it is mentioned, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunais tatra samata se sura. It is mentioned that anyone who becomes a devotee of the Lord, automatically all good qualities come inside that person. We want our children to be intelligent. We want our children to be mannered. We want our children to be well-spoken. We want our children to be kind-hearted. We want our children to have all these good qualities. We want, for us also, we want all these good qualities. We want that anger, greed, envy, jealousy, these qualities should not be there, right? Anyone wants, my kid should be very angry. Anger में number 1 होना चाहिए. Jealous है ना, बहुत अच्छा quality है, jealous होना चाहिए. No, we all want that, my kid should not have these qualities, because these are very, unnecessarily, it will lead to so much difficulty. The Shastra mentions, Yasyasti bhakti bhagavat akinchana sarvais guna tatra samata se sura. All good qualities automatically come in the soul who is worshipping God. Because you are rekindling your connection with your Creator. You are rekindling the connection with the one who actually gave us life in the first place. In this life, we have 2 sets of parents who gave us life. In the previous life, someone else gave. In the previous life, someone else did. The first birth is given by God, by Krishna. And just like our soul is in the region of the heart, there is one more. There is Atma and there is Paramatma. Along with us, Krishna is there in our heart. He's traveling with us in every life. We are not alone. We say, no, Bhagwan hamare saath hai, Bhagwan hamare hriday mein hai. Krishna is actually present in our heart. So actually, the person closest to us, even before our parents, is Krishna. So for your children also, the one who's closer than you also for them is Krishna. And Krishna is the one who can always protect them. After a while, we may not be able to protect our children. After a while, we'll not be here only. After many years, we may not be here, but Krishna will always be with them. So why don't we re-establish that connection of our children with Krishna? And that will be the best thing we can do for our children. No? The fact that we have taken birth means that we did not perfect our relationship with God, and that's why we took another birth. Anyone who perfects their relationship with God at the end of life goes back to the spiritual world. So that means the parents of our children in their previous life, soul matlab there is another life, they could not give them God consciousness. Therefore, this soul has been born now again in our custody. But previous life also, our children had some parents who used to give them food, who used to give them clothing, who used to give them education, who used to give them shelter. All that was there. Now we say, no, we love our children so much. So shouldn't we do something for them, which none of their previous parents in the previous lives have done? That would make the real difference. So let us give them spirituality. And the only way to give them spirituality is by taking Krishna consciousness ourselves. When we take to Krishna consciousness, when we develop our relationship with Krishna, then you see, they will also do. So encourage your children in Krishna consciousness, but follow yourself as well. And in this way, we have to do our part. After that, once the children are beyond the age of 15, they make their own choices, that's fine. But be confident that you've given them something which will come back to them sometime or the other. And therefore, they will be benefited by it. So the value of this compared to all other things, this is gold standard. So please take it and please become nice devotees and give your children Krishna consciousness. Encourage them to chant. You chant yourself. Encourage them to come for the children's class. You come for some class yourself. We went to Vrindavan last week. So we had our many people here. Ashish Prabhu, his wife, his children were there. We had Om and his parents were there. We had like 5-6 children from Rupati Mataji's class. The children and their parents had come. So, isn't that a very wonderful samskar to give to the children? The Muslims, they pride on going to Mecca. It's a pride of their life to go there. They take all hardships to go there. Shouldn't we at least once a year take our children? You take your children to Orlando, Florida, and show them Disneyland. That's all fine. But take them to spiritual Disneyland also, Vrindavan. Give them those values also. Samskar. You get a scar. Harry Potter had a scar. The scar doesn't go away. Samskar also doesn't go away. So these things are all samskars. On birthdays, taking the my aunt used to do that. Every birthday, get up, wear your new clothes, come to the temple. Take them to temples on special occasions. Take them to temples on their birthdays. Make them do some charity. Last week we were in Bhiwandi. We were distributing prasad, and we came to this area where it was all just children of construction workers. Sometimes take your kids to these places also and show them. Then they'll value the things that they have. These are all called samskars. Give them God consciousness. That's the best samskar. And in this way, let's do our part right now while they are in our custody. And let's not worry about what will happen in the future. We anyway don't know what is going to happen in the future. Let's do our job nicely. Okay, Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining. If you are more interested in taking to Krishna consciousness, we plan to have a detailed introductory session about Krishna consciousness on 15th and 16th March. That will be online. 2 days. It's Saturday, Sunday, or whichever is the Saturday, Sunday near 15, 16, whatever that date is. I'll just tell you the date. It is March, right? 12th and 13th March. 12th and 13th March. We have a 2-day session where we will discuss in detail about Krishna consciousness and the Bhagwad Gita. So if you're interested, please join. We also have a regular Bhagwad Gita group We have a nightly Bhagwad Gita reading, 15 minutes every night. So Mataji will give you information of all these things. Please do join. And in this way, let's become nice devotees and we can give that to our kids. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I want to ask,
Hare Krishna.
with your permission, I want to ask one question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, the age which you told about the upbringing for the kids, up to 5 years, we should give them full love. Then after 5 to 15. Now, is there any special instruction or something from your side for the kids who already crossed that age of 15 years? And now, to, just I have 2 kids. One kid is 15 and one is 6. My daughter, she is attending Mataji's class and she is doing chanting and she is doing prasadam, offering prasadam and all. She's following the things very nicely. But my son, he is 15 years old, so he is not in the Krishna consciousness. He, after taking bath, he stands in front of deity, he joins hands and prays and all that. So any special instruction or any special thing which you can advise for those kids?
Actually, if your son is doing that also, that is also a very good thing. You know, if that much also, then that is also a very good thing. For children who are older, we can just set a proper example. And we can always say that, don't worry, I'm always there for you. And I have come across this thing, the spirituality, and it's really nice. Whenever later on you feel interested, spend some time with me and I'll show you some things that I have read or some things that I have learned. Like that, in a friendly approach. And of course, we pray for them. We should pray every day for them. And Krishna is very merciful. He's seated in their heart. So if you become a nice devotee, why wouldn't he help your child also? So rather, there's no point in forcing a 15-year-old.
Definitely.
But we can in a very friendly, nice way, we can tell them, appreciating that they think they are adults.
Yes.
Like, I belong to a Sindhi family, brought up in Mumbai, as seen all the world. I remember, the things that I talk about and do now, I have not been doing from birth. I became a devotee. I got introduced to Krishna consciousness when I was 21 years old. So I still remember, I'm looking outside my window, just behind the trees is Warsaw beach. I can see from here. So I remember when we were 17 years old, me and my friends used to go and we used to hide some bottles of some not so nice liquids. And we used to sit at the beach and we used to, drink that Bisleri and talk. And I still remember we used to talk that, we are adults now, we should be allowed to, we are responsibly drinking. Hame to pata hai, we are adults now, we are mature. So the reason Chanakya Pandit says after 15 you have to treat your child as a friend is because the false ego really makes that person think that yes, you're an adult now. And therefore we have to sort of appreciate that. And rather than puncturing it, we should sort of pat it that yes, you are an adult. And therefore, if you think you would like to hear something about this, whenever you would like to, please come and we'll discuss. I really like it and I think it's helping me. So, if we've done our job of developing a nice bond with our children, as soon as we say, I really like it, but it's up to you. Whenever you want to, you come. Eventually, somewhere down the line, he will come and he will say, Asha, theek hai, batao kuch. Maybe it could not be now, maybe after a couple of years with a breakup with a girlfriend or, with some difficulty in exam or with something like that, it may come. Let it come at that time.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, what we can do now is if you have questions, you could just raise your hand on your video or electronically. So we can approach one person because otherwise there'll be too many people together. So there's someone, Aradhya K, who has raised. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for today's wonderful session from you, and it is very learning for us. And Prabhuji, मेरा एक ये question था कि as a parent, how we have to handle children like spiritually and as well as their studies. मतलब कभी कभी ऐसा होता है ना प्रभु जी की जो स्टडीज है स्कूल के उसके पीछे हम लोग को बहुत भागना पड़ता है उनके पीछे कि कैसे स्टडीज करना है क्या करना है उस पर भी वो लोग फोकस वगैरह करते नहीं है तो एज ए स्पिरिचुअली भी हम लोग को उनको सिखाना है इट्स आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड इट्स आवर ड्यूटी तो प्रभु जी कैसे हम लोग कोप अप करना है प्रभु जी तो वी नीड सम एडवाइस प्रभु
अभी देखो इसमें एक इम्पोर्टेंट चीज जो याद रखना है ना कि स्पिरिचुअल एजुकेशन मटेरियल एजुकेशन से ज्यादा वैल्यूबल है और ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है उसको उसकी ज्यादा जरूरत है मटेरियल एजुकेशन आवश्यक है उसको एक क्लास से दूसरे क्लास तक जाने के लिए और फिर कॉलेज में जाने के लिए और वो सब करने के लिए अल्टीमेटली जितना पैसा हम मटेरियल एजुकेशन के लिए क्यों बोलते हैं ताकि उनको अच्छा नौकरी मिले या वो अच्छा कुछ करें लाइफ में आगे जाके ना वी वांट देम स्कूल में अच्छा पढ़ाई कर बेटा तो अच्छे कॉलेज में एडमिशन मिलेगा अच्छे स्ट्रीम में मिलेगा ताकि तेरे को अच्छा पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन होगा ताकि तू अच्छा नौकरी करेगा या करेगी एक चीज का हमें फर्म फेथ होना चाहिए जितना पैसा हर एक व्यक्ति के भाग्य में लिखा है उतना मिलेगा उससे एक पैसा कम नहीं मिलेगा एक पैसा ज्यादा नहीं मिलेगा आपका जो सबसे बड़ा दुश्मन है ना वो भी आपका एक पैसा कम नहीं कर सकता है और एक पैसा ज्यादा आपको मिलेगा नहीं तो अगर वो भाग्य में लिखा है एंड द unfortunately the goal of modern education is to get a good package that's all it has become कोई भी कुछ भी बोले कोई भी स्कूल अपने प्रोस्पेक्टस में कुछ भी लिखे अल्टीमेटली लोग वो देखते हैं कि इसमें से कितने लोग कहाँ पास आउट होके गए और उसमें से कितने प्लेसमेंट्स मिले और कितने 8 फिगर वाले प्लेसमेंट्स थे और 7 फिगर वाले प्लेसमेंट्स थे वो देख के लोगों का पूरा अपेक्षा पेरेंट्स का वैसा रहता है पर अगर हमें पता है कि जितना धन मेरे बच्चे को मिलने वाला है वो मिलने ही वाला है तो फिर मुझे इतना क्रेजी नहीं होना चाहिए उनके एकेडमिक गोल्स को लेके मुझे लेजी भी नहीं होना चाहिए पर मुझे क्रेजी भी नहीं होना चाहिए आई शुड इंश्योर माई चिल्ड्रन स्टडी आई शुड इंश्योर दैट दे डू वेल इन देयर एग्जाम्स बट आई शुड नॉट बी क्रेजी दैट आई वांट देम टू बी इन दैट टॉप 2% 97 98 वो सब मिलना चाहिए 95 मिलना चाहिए उतना हमें मेंटल नहीं होना चाहिए तो इसीलिए भगवान ने 24 घंटे दिए हैं उसमें से 8 घंटे हम सोते हैं ठीक है 8 घंटे हटा दीजिए बैलेंस है 16 घंटे 16 घंटे में से आपके बच्चे जाएंगे स्कूल कितने घंटे स्कूल होता है 6 घंटे सब कुछ मिला के 8 घंटे कितना होता है 6 घंटे सब मिला के आप ट्यूशन ऐड करो ये सब ऐड करो मिला के क्या उसके बाद भी हमारे पास 15-20 मिनट नहीं है दिन में एग्जाम टाइम्स पे भी कैसे हम बोल सकते हैं ना तो हमें हमारा लाइफ अच्छे से ऑर्गेनाइज करना चाहिए ये ध्यान में रख के कि एक्चुअली ये जो हम दे रहे हैं ना वो उसके बहुत ज्यादा फायदे का है अभी किसने आपसे लाइफ में कितने साल पहले पूछा था आपको 10th में कितना मार्क्स मिला या 12th में कितना मार्क्स मिला कल जूही से बात कर रहा था उसका एग्जाम है अभी 12th स्टैंडर्ड का तो ये सेम चीज मैंने उसको 10th में ही बोला था कि जूही 10th स्टैंडर्ड का एग्जाम्स का इतना कुछ मार्क्स कोई बाद में पूछेगा नहीं तभी मेरे को बोलती है हाँ प्रभु जी 10th स्टैंडर्ड का मार्क्स तो कोई पूछता नहीं अभी पर 12th का मार्क्स तो सब लोग पूछते हैं ना तो 12th का भी कोई नहीं पूछेगा बाद में तो हमें उसका ये मतलब नहीं मैं बच्चों को फेल होने दूं या एकदम एंड वाले मार्क्स में लाऊं आई शुड डू माई बिट बट आई शुड इंश्योर दैट ये सवाल तो सब पूछने वाले हैं बाद में when it comes to my end of life यमराज एंड चित्रगुप्त are going to ask that question भाई कुछ धर्म का काम किया कि नहीं जिंदगी में वो ये नहीं पूछेंगे 12th स्टैंडर्ड में कितने मार्क्स लेके आए वो ये पूछेंगे जब मन में टेम्पटेशंस आएंगे जिंदगी में आगे जाके बच्चों को जब वो बड़े होंगे टीनेज होंगे तब वो अलजेब्रा ज्योमेट्री उनको टेम्पटेशन से नहीं हटाएगा भगवद गीता का ज्ञान उनको टेम्पटेशन से हटाएगा और उसके लिए हमें समय देना है सो इनफैक्ट आपके टू डू लिस्ट में सबसे पहले आना चाहिए यू नो टाइम स्पिरिचुअल टाइम विथ माय डॉटर एंड देन मैथ्स साइंस physical education, this, that, everything else. It's just a matter of organizing our time. Okay. By the broad smile on your face, I understand you completely agree with me.
Yes,
Hare
yes, yes,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. And thank you so much, Rupavati Mataji and Prabhuji. Because of you, my daughter Arati is taking so much interest in reciting the shlokas. She is very much interested to know the stories, based stories. Thank you, thank you. Thanks a lot, Prabhu.
That 100% credit goes to Mataji only. I am not involved in that at all. That 100% credit is to Mataji. So all glories to Mataji.
Keep your blessings, Prabhu. That she can become a devotee in her life.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. All prayers for all your children and everyone else's children, that they become wonderful devotees of the Lord. The Lord is seated in their hearts. The Lord is seated in everyone's heart, and the Lord wants, Krishna wants that people take to Krishna consciousness and they become happy. When we are sometimes happy, even though we are adults, our parents feel concerned for us. अभी हम सब कुछ खुद से कर रहे हैं, फिर भी माता पिता को चिंता होती है कि क्यों, we have our own kids, but our parents still feel upset or they feel concerned when we are stressed out. Krishna is our eternal father. Life after life, he is our father. So the mercy of God is available to everyone. We just have to take it. So as parents, let us do that, and let us for ourselves also take to God consciousness. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Millie Pathak, you can ask your question.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Prabhuji, मेरा बेटा, he is 9 years old. He is also he is also joining Rupavati Mataji's class since last 1.5 years. But अभी ना उसको इंटरेस्ट कम होने लगा है. पहले वो सिंसियरली चैंट करता था, भगवत गीता भी पढ़ता था. अभी I have to force him for everything. तो ये क्या करें फिर इसके साथ ये?
तो ये जो स्पेसिफिक केस है आप माताजी से डिस्कस कीजिए, क्योंकि मुझे आपके बेटे के बारे में कुछ पता नहीं, नहीं आपके बारे में कुछ पता है. बट इन जनरल ऐसे होता है, हर एक व्यक्ति के साथ ऐसे होता है कि
प्रभु जी, जहाँ तक मेरी बात है, मैं सिंसियरली मैं पूजा भी करती हूँ, मैं एकादशी में मंदिर भी जाती हूँ, मंदिर भी विजिट करती हूँ वेरी ऑफन, और मैं चैंट भी करती हूँ टाइम निकाल के. बट मैं उसको बोलती हूँ कि मैं कैसे टाइम निकाल रही हूँ हर चीज के लिए, तो यू ऑल्सो हैव टू मैनेज, मतलब तुम्हें करना पड़ेगा ये अपने आप ही, किसी के फोर्स करने से नहीं होगा.
आप अपना स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ को और ज्यादा एंथुजियास्टिकली आगे बढ़ाइए और देखिए वो भी करेगा. और देखिए इसमें दो चीजें हैं. एक तो ऑफ कोर्स हम उनको वी कैन नॉट फोर्स आवर चिल्ड्रन, हम उनको फोर्स नहीं कर सकते हैं भगवान की भक्ति करने के लिए, पर क्योंकि वो 9 साल का है, हम एटलीस्ट कुछ तो स्टैट्यूटरी रिक्वायरमेंट्स रख सकते हैं कि एज अ पेरेंट आई एम टेलिंग यू, यू हैव टू डू दिस. अभी तक रख सकते हैं, वो थोड़े साल बाद वो नहीं रख पाएंगे, पर अभी आप रख सकते हैं कि एज अ पेरेंट आई एम टेलिंग यू, आपको रोज चैंटिंग करना है. भले उनको ग्रजिंगली करने दीजिए. हम वेट करते हैं ना वो हृदय से कब करेंगे, वो हृदय में बहुत मैल है, हमारे हृदय में भी बहुत मैल है. वो मैल कैसे जाएगा? चैंटिंग करने से जाएगा. तो अगर हमें लगता है ना कि क्या फायदा, मैं अपने बच्चे को फोर्स कर रहा हूँ चैंटिंग करने के लिए, ठीक है चलेगा, एटलीस्ट वो चैंटिंग का कुछ तो इफेक्ट होगा. एंड फोर्स मतलब डंडा लेके फोर्स नहीं, पर फोर्स मतलब इन अ वेरी नाइस वे कि इट्स अ स्टैट्यूटरी रिक्वायरमेंट, that you have to chant. It's for your good. You may not understand it right now, but please do it. And on your own, you improve your Krishna consciousness. सुबह जल्दी उठ के जप कीजिए. Eventually come to your increase your chanting. And when you become more and more staunch in your devotional service, your child will also definitely see that, because he's just 9 years old. He'll definitely see it. बाकी जो और details है आप रूपवती माताजी से डिस्कस कीजिए. आई एम श्योर देयर विल बी सम गुड सॉल्यूशन. थैंक यू फॉर योर क्वेश्चन.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
ओके, रिंकी श्रीवास्तव.
प्रभु जी, मैं आदित्य की मदर बोल रही हूँ, और आई एम वेरी ग्रेटफुल फॉर माताजी जो पढ़ा रहे हैं बच्चों को, उससे मैं बहुत हैप्पी हूँ. एक्चुअली अभी एक सिचुएशन आई थी हमारे घर में घर में थोड़ी सी बहस हो रही थी, कुछ चीजों को लेके डिस्प्यूट्स हो रहे थे। तो हमें लगा कि अभी हम बाहर रहते हैं, बस हस्बैंड वाइफ और बेटा, तो उसमें कोई बड़ा इन्वॉल्व नहीं हो पाया हमको समझाने के लिए। तो हम सोचे क्या करें, तो हमने वो डिस्कस आदित्य के साथ कर लिया, बेटा ये सिचुएशन क्यों हो रही है हमारे साथ घर पे। तो आदित्य ने ना एक श्लोक पढ़ा, अभी श्लोक कंपटीशन हुआ था, उसमें श्लोक लर्न किया था, उसका मीनिंग लर्न किया था। उसने सबसे पहले वो श्लोक बोला, उस श्लोक का मीनिंग बोला और उसका ट्रांसलेशन समझाया। फिर उससे हमारे जो डिस्प्यूट्स हो रहे थे उसको कनेक्ट करके हम लोगों से, जो हम हफ्ते भर से जो डिस्प्यूट्स में थे, उसको शट आउट कर दिया।
वंडरफुल।
अभी आदित्य 9 इयर्स का ही है, अब 10 में, अब नाउ ही कमिंग फॉर 10 इयर्स। लेकिन एक 9 साल का बच्चा अगर हमें समझा रहा है, वो भी भगवत गीता से सीख के, तो मुझे लगा कि माता जी जो सिखा रहे हैं बच्चों को, इट इज वेरी ग्रेटफुल। जो हम शायद ना सीख पाए और ना हम अभी भी शायद हम नहीं सीख पाए थे, तभी हम बच्चों को समझा नहीं पाए। हमारा बच्चा अब हमें समझाना शुरू कर दिया। दिस इज द फर्स्ट स्टेप। भगवत गीता के बारे में हमने भी अपने पेरेंट्स से इतना नॉलेज नहीं मिला था, तो हमें भी नहीं पता था ये कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट है। एक बार मैं पढ़ भी चुकी हूँ, बीच में थोड़ा सा कुछ डिप्रेशन आ गया था, कुछ लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम आई थी, तो लोगों ने तब सजेस्ट किया था कि बुक पढ़ो, भगवत गीता बुक पढ़ो। तब भी पढ़ा, लेकिन उसका मतलब समझ में नहीं आया। उसका मतलब अब जब हमारा बच्चा पढ़ रहा है और वो हमें समझाया, तब हमको समझ में आया एक्चुअली में ये चीज क्या है, समय हमारी लाइफ के लिए कितनी इम्पोर्टेंट है।
तो अभी आप बताइए, ये जो सिचुएशन हुआ, दिस सिचुएशन कंपेयर टू अगर वो क्लास में फर्स्ट आ गया या कुछ स्पोर्ट्स में ट्रॉफी लेके आ गया, आपको इसमें ज्यादा खुशी मिली, ज्यादा सेटिस्फैक्शन मिली? ऑफ कोर्स, क्योंकि उसने एक लाइफ का प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया
जी,
वो भी इस उम्र में।
आने वाले टाइम पे ही इज अ गुड, जो आप बोले ना गुड सोल। बच्चे को आपने कुछ जो सिखाना है, ये चीजें ना बच्चा स्कूल में सीख पा रहा है, ना ये बच्चा बुक से सीख पाएगा। इसे कोई टीचर नहीं समझा सकती। जो ये खुद से सीख गया है, आगे लाइफ में बहुत सारी चीजें आनी है, बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स आनी है, बहुत सारे डिस्प्यूट्स, बहुत टाइप के लोगों से मिलना है, कैसे डील करना है, हमारा बच्चा अब ये इसकी स्टार्टिंग कर चुका है। फर्स्ट सीढ़ी ये चढ़ गया।
वंडरफुल। ऐसे ही कंटिन्यू करना है। आप उसके साथ चढ़ते रहिए एंड देखिए लाइफ विल बी एटलीस्ट, यू नो, देयर आर इन आवर कंट्री, जितना हमारी आबादी है, और आपको इंजीनियर्स, डॉक्टर्स, ये सब बहुत आसानी से मिल जाते हैं आजकल, पर ऐसा कोई जन जो भगवान के बारे में जाने, जो बहुत मैनर्ड हो, जिसमें बुरी आदतें नहीं हो, जो लोगों को ये सब समझा पाए, ऐसे लोग बहुत रेयर हैं। तो अगर इफ वी कैन मेक आवर चिल्ड्रन लाइक दैट, देन दे वुड एक्चुअली रियली बी अप्रिशिएटेड इन सोसाइटी।
जी,
मैं जब
आदित्य कुछ हद तक, ज्यादा तो नहीं बोलूंगी मैं एज अ मदर, लेकिन आदित्य में कुछ ऐसी चीजें आ गई है जिसको देख के पेरेंट्स खुद आते हैं कि आदित्य को आप क्या सिखा रहे हो। तो मैंने उनको बताया कि कुछ नहीं कर रहा है ऐसा स्पेशल, वो सिर्फ क्लास कर रहा है भगवद गीता की, जो भी फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है, जिसमें हम कुछ पैसा नहीं लगा रहे हैं, जबकि एजुकेशन में हम इससे ज्यादा लगा रहे हैं। इसके लिए हम कुछ इसकी चीजों में, इसके शब्दों में वो चीज नजर आ रही है, और रिलेटिव्स में, मेरे फ्रेंड सर्कल में सबको वो चीज दिख रही है।
हमें भी वो बायजूस की तरह बहुत एक्सपेंसिव कर देना चाहिए क्लास को, तो और लोग आएंगे, उनको फिर लगेगा ना कुछ पैसा दे रहे हैं, मतलब कुछ है इसके अंदर। थैंक यू वेरी मच माता जी, इट्स अ वेरी नाइस टेस्टिमोनियल। इनफैक्ट आप इसको कुछ रिकॉर्ड करके भेजिए, एंड रूपवती माता जी कैन शेयर विद ऑल अदर पेरेंट्स, यू नो, द लाइव केस स्टडी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण। यस, विकास प्रभु।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so it has the another testimony only in the case of Keshav. Because as you rightly told that academic education, they are just to survive, means they have got no other use, in my opinion, actually, means they only take care of survival. They don't take care of advancing in life. So Keshav was also not well in his academics. And eventually, when he attended Mataji's class, he picked up very well. And now, even I don't need to teach him more. Means just he does everything of his academics also at his own. And Mataji used to give him allurement of some kind of gift or prasadam or something. Means whenever there any shloka competition or something is there, and he used to be excited about that yes, I'll be winning a prize in that and something will come for me, so I'll learn 2 more shlokas, I'll learn this also, I'll learn that also. So that is basically amusing, I feel it very amusing, like how at his own he is learning all these things. And but that is, I've seen efforts of Mataji's in sometimes, because I attend the class of Mataji also, sitting beside him. She definitely, at the level of children, it is a bit hard to teach them the cult of spiritual thing. But Mataji takes care of each and every children. I have seen what a big mess used to be there. Somebody calls for prize, somebody calls for quiz, somebody calls for story, and at your level it is. I hope, in my opinion, it is a bit easier that people at least listen attentively. That you are teaching us some kind of higher this higher philosophy, but they are just aware of their own opinions. So it is wonderful. All glory is done to Mataji. That the service
Absolutely.
she is doing.
It's
Yes.
a very wonderful, thankless task actually.
Yes,
And both Mahapati Prabhu and Rupati Mataji, they are really having a very good program going, and encourage more and more people to participate in this. And the best way, the ultimately, it boils down to, we have to be fully convinced that Krishna consciousness is the best gift we can give our children. There's nothing greater than that. Even if we can get our kids to IIT and IIM, Krishna consciousness doesn't compare to that. Krishna consciousness is the greatest gift which we can give to them. And so, assumed that all of us want to give the best thing to our children, we have to give them this. And here it is that we'll only be able to give it to them if we ourselves follow it. So, Rupati Mataji, Mahapati Prabhu, they're themselves very nice devotees. And so then they are giving this to others, and we ourselves, we should take to Krishna consciousness, and then we should give that facility to our kids. So your Keshav is on the right track, and we are confident to see your Sham also go on the right track by the combined efforts. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, actually, Sham is also. Sham also offers everything. Even if he eats a simple piece of fruit to Krishna, we have got a Laddu Gopal deity. He comes and he just raises his hand, though he does not reach up to there. But he has somehow or other he has come to that whatever he does, he is there before the deities. So let's hope by your blessings.
Prabhupada writes in many places that for children, he gives his own example. And he says that for children, children are everyone there, but children are innocent. What does that mean? That means that their exposure to the world is still limited, and if at that age we give them Krishna consciousness, very playfully they will take it. Prabhupada said, my father gave me a set of Radha Krishna deities, and I would just worship them. And for me initially they were like dolls. And then later on, my father told me more about it, and I came to know that this is a Supreme Lord. But so children have that affinity, and we just have to channelize it nicely. Thank you, Prabhu. So,
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
I just have 1 minute. I have to leave at 1. I have something.
Prabhuji, I have a suggestion. I believe there should be some short-term course of Bhagavad Seva for these kids, summer vacation may and all.
Yeah, Mataji has a 18-session Bhagwad Gita program going on for children. So you can reach out to her and she'll give you more details about it.
Mataji, Prabhuji, I was thinking mandir mein kuch aisa, I will try in my place. I live in Delhi, so I'll try in my place. I have.
If you are staying in Delhi, then you can approach any of the Delhi temples like Dwarka or east of Kailash, wherever you stay close, Punjabi Bagh, and 100% they will be having some children program for summer or something where you can get connected over there.
Surely, Prabhuji.
वहाँ के मंदिर में पता कीजिए, आपको definitely कुछ program मिलेगा.
ठीक है Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you. Please take to the process of Krishna consciousness, and in this way give yourselves a chance to become nice devotees, and then very confidently we give that to our kids. It's the best thing we can do for them. See you all soon. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Let us all chant loudly for Prabhuji. Yeah, everyone can unmute and we'll all chant loudly for Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Thank you everyone for attending this session.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hare Rama.
Krishna Mataji.